Today I've decided to follow on from my previous video, which was my epilepsy journey, and chat to you a little bit more about it really. I wanted to point out some things that I've done to help work around having epilepsy and just give you some general tips and pointers. None of these things are necessarily going to stop epilepsy, but they will definitely make your life a lot easier, as they did with me. Okay, so I cut out caffeine. I found that the rush it gave me was almost making my seizures worse, so I decided to switch to decaf. And I also had herbal teas, and one in particular I had was chamomile tea quite a lot. I do have caffeine now, but I now limit myself and I try and stay clear of it as much as I can, because it's not really that good for you to keep having loads, especially if you've got epilepsy. So I also started doing more exercise. So I started running, I started cycling. I love cycling now, especially as obviously I can't drive since being diagnosed with epilepsy. And I also do yoga quite a bit. Yoga is really good for relaxing you, for keeping you calm. You know, there's a lot of health benefits towards it, and not often you'll find some classes finish their session with a meditation part, which is always good. There's a website called Headspace, and that really is good for just being able to press the pause button on your mind, which, as you and me both know, is quite difficult when you're constantly worrying about then when the next seizure is going to happen, or you know what situation you're going to be in. So it's quite nice to be able to, for once, have a little bit of a pause button. So I really recommend doing that, and also checking out Headspace. So the next thing I also did was I listened to a lot more music. I tried to stop watching too much TV. Again, another sort of mind situation. I didn't want to be thinking about too much. I was already stressed as it was, worrying about having seizures. So I found listening to music was good. And I'm not talking sort of pop music or anything like that, where you've got a singer and they're singing about life woes and all that. I didn't need that. I decided to switch to Classic FM. Now, Classic FM was amazing. Like I say in my last video, I took the radio into the shower with me to calm me while I was having a shower, so I would be less stressed if a seizure was to happen. It wouldn't necessarily stop me having a seizure, but it would definitely make it less intense, which was half the battle, because then I started to not fear it as much, and as we all know, that can be it's really scary. So yes, Classic FM was a big thing for me as well. A general healthy lifestyle is key. We should be healthy anyway, but I'm a firm believer that if you do have epilepsy, you really need to be tightening everything in to make sure that you aren't overdoing it, eating the wrong things. I mean, for example, we all know that having junk food isn't good for us. Especially I didn't feel it was very good for me at all with what I have. And I found that by eating the wrong foods, I felt lethargic, I didn't feel very good, sometimes my stomach would be upset because it wasn't the right food for me, so having a general healthy lifestyle, drinking plenty of water, is definitely key. Okay, so they were my main sort of lifestyle changes as such, but I thought I'd give you a few top tips on things you can do with regards to your epilepsy. So when you are diagnosed with epilepsy, you won't be able to drive anymore, which was quite difficult for me at the start, but I didn't have a job that relied on me driving, which was a massive bonus. Luckily, I used to walk in, or I would cycle in, and I found that it was a bit of a shell shock, I'm not going to lie. I didn't like the fact that I couldn't go somewhere if I desired to. I had to rely on my own feet, somebody else, or public transport. But the local council, and it should be for most places, provided me with a travel concession card, so I can get on any bus and travel for free. To start with, I was thinking, oh my goodness, I've passed my driving test, why do I need to get the bus now? I've gone back to where I used to be. but I absolutely love it now. Some people I know on the bus now, chat to people at the bus stop, what else happens, you know, and I can get so many places easier. There's a bus that actually goes to a city near to me that even if I was driving, it would take about the same time. It goes direct. I don't have to pay for parking. I can get on the bus and then come back again. So, you know, you work around it, and maybe one day I will get my licence back, but I'm very cautious because I'm frightened if I was to have a seizure again, then I wouldn't want to put anybody else at danger. So that's my only fear at the moment, if I'm to have a big one, if I was to be given my driving licence back, but there we go. So another point I wanted to make sure everyone was aware of was using some sort of a phone app to remind you to take medication. Now, I'm awful with remembering anything to do with taking my medication. I am notorious for forgetting anyway, and I think, so I've been told that my medication doesn't help that, so that's even makes it absolutely worse. So I have an app to remind me when to take my different sets of tablets. It's called MediSafe, and you can download it on most phones, I believe, and it just sets an alarm. The alarm goes off, it actually does like a pill rattle, and it just reminds you to take your tablets at that time, and it will keep doing it until you go, I've taken it. So sometimes I'll hear it and I think, oh yeah, I need to take my medication. I'll go and do something and forget about it, and then it'll rattle again. I'll think, I need to take medication, and it keeps doing it until you've had it. So I really recommend getting some sort of app on your phone. I also have a little medication purse with me, and that comes with me everywhere. So I have it in my handbag, and all that sort of thing. So I've definitely got it with me. I also have an emergency pack that I keep in the kitchen, because if I don't know, put my purse down somewhere, or do you know what I mean? I've always got some somewhere, and I think that's a big thing. And making sure you stay on top of how much you've got left and when you need to get it. Now, with my medication, I have a repeat prescription, so I'll go and collect it from my pharmacy, and then I will be given a card that will say when I can go and get the next lot. So I know I'm never going to run out, because I'll have enough to tie me over. So that's a really good thing to do if you can get if you are stable on the dose, that you know you're taking a decent dose, and it's, you're not sort of in the in-between bit where you're working out what's going to work for you, then a repeat prescription is great. So I really recommend doing that, and I've got a little card that says what date I need to go and pick it up. So yes, definitely recommend doing that. I definitely think there's a bit of a stigma attached to what complex partial seizures are and partial seizures are, because people don't see anything, and so we're not having a fit on the floor, we're not necessarily making anything visual, and I don't think people necessarily understand. Just for example, I went to a exercise class and had to fill out a medical form, and on it I put that I had epilepsy, but I put partial seizures controlled, and the lady was so rude to me, it was ridiculous. She basically, because I've got epilepsy, she was like, what do I do? What do we do if you have a fit? And you know, what about photosensitive lights? You know, you're either photosensitive. And I just thought, this is how narrow-minded people are when it comes to epilepsy. They don't know enough. People just don't know enough. I had to explain to her, and it was all fine to do it, but people have this sort of like this panic about them, that they don't know what to do if it was to ever happen. Even though I know what to do with myself, and I can understand to some extent people worrying about it, but I think because people don't know enough about each different kind, it throws people, and they automatically seem to have photosensitive epilepsy. I don't know if anybody else finds that everybody seems to go, oh, you're alright, like, with these lights, you're alright with, like, this film. And I just think, how stupid are you? There's not that many people that actually have photosensitive epilepsy. Yeah, they're my points. It might help, might not. They're only little ones, and I just think maintaining a healthy lifestyle, just switching a few things, and keeping yourself calm is a huge one. You know, if you are in a stressful job and it's jeopardising your health with your seizures, it is not worth it. Switch to a profession that makes you feel makes you feel happy, and also work for a company that has a definite you know, what to do with someone who's got epilepsy in the workplace. I think you definitely need to look at your whole lifestyle in order to make sure that you're looked after. And yeah, that's it really. Okay, well, I hope this has been helpful. And as before, any questions, you just let me know. I'm happy to chat to you and help in any which way I can. And yeah, complex partial seizures, yeah. So yes, hopefully it's been helpful, and I'll see you next week. Bye.